Okay, so here I am. Okay, so hello everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with you again. I'm continuing the wisdom of Solomon. I just wanted to take the opportunity to say hello, to say welcome. You are so welcome on this platform. Hopefully I am making a difference. I am trying to express the love of God that He has for all of us. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed the wisdom of Solomon as much as I have. I think it has been amazing. I've always loved it, and I've always tended to sort of like understand things from a different perspective, a spiritual perspective, of course, for me. For everybody it is different, but for me that is what I am called to say, and that is what I know within myself. The personal relationship with Jesus and His Father, and it's something that I really am eager to express to the world, whoever might be listening. For me, this platform is something that I feel that helps people, I guess, walk away with a different perception about things. And I am honoured to be here, and I am honoured to read the most beautiful words, not just on this video, of course, but all the videos that I make. And hopefully it helps you guys understand Jesus from a different perspective, with spiritual eyes. And I just wanted to say thank you. And I'm going to continue reading the wisdom of Solomon, and I am so happy to be here. And I just wanted to say thank you. So, okay, so here we go. Oh, how good and gracious, Lord, is your Spirit in all things. Therefore, those who wander afield, you correct. And as to those who sin, you counsel them and admonish them, so that having abandoned malice, they may believe in you, O Lord. For those ancient inhabitants of your holy land, who you abhorred, because they were doing works hateful to you, through unjust medicines and sacrifices, and the merciless murderers of their own sons, and the eaters of human entrails, and the devourers of blood apart from your community sacrament, and the sellers performing the ceremonies of helpless souls, you willed to destroy by the hands of our parents, so that they might worthily secure the sojourn of the children of God in the land which is most beloved by you. Yet, so that you were lenient even to these men, you sent wasps, forerunners of your army, so that you might destroy them little by little. Not because you are unable to subdue the impious under the just by war, or by cruel beasts, or with a harsh word to exterminate them at once, but in judging by degrees, you were giving them a place of repentance, not unaware that their nation is wicked, and their malice is inherent, and their thinking could never be changed. For this offspring was accursed from the beginning. Neither did you, fearing anyone, give favour to their sins. For who will say to you, "What have you done?" Or who will stand against your judgment? Or who will come before you as a defender of unfair men? Or who will accuse you if the nations perish, which you have made? For neither is there any other God but you, who has care of all, to whom you will show that you did not give judgment unjustly. Neither will king or tyrant inquire before you about those whom you destroyed. Therefore, since you are just, you order all things justly, considering it foreign to your virtue to condemn him who does not deserve to be punished. For your power is the beginning of justice, and because you are Lord of all, you make yourself to be lenient to all. For you reveal your power to those who do not believe in you to be perfect in power, and you expose the arrogance of those who do not know you. Yet you are a master of power, since you judge with tranquility, and since you administer us with great reverence, for it is close to you to be used whenever you will. But you have taught your people through such works that they must be just and humane, and you have made your sons to be of good hope, because in judging you provide a place for repentance from sins. For even if the enemies of your servants were deserving of death, you afflicted them with great attentiveness, providing a time and a place whereby they would be able to be changed from malice. With what diligence, then, have you judged your sons, whose parents you have given oaths and covenants in good faith? Therefore, while you give us discipline, you give our enemies a multiplicity of scourges, so that in judging we may think on your goodness, and when we are judged, we may hope for mercy. Therefore, also to these who have lived their life irrationally and unjustly, though these things that they worshipped, you gave the greatest torments, and indeed they wandered for a long time in the way of error, valuing those things as gods, which are worthless even among animals, living in foolish, irrational behaviour. Because of this, you have given a judgment in derision, as if from foolish children. But those who have not been corrected by mockery and chiding have experienced a judgment worthy of God. For among those who were indignant in their sufferings, which came through those things that they reputed to be gods, when they saw that they would be destroyed by these same things, those who formerly refused knowledge of him now acknowledged the true God. And because of this, the end of their condemnation came upon them. But all men are vain, who are not under the knowledge of God, and who from these good things that are seen were not able to understand he who is, nor by paying attention to the works did they acknowledge he who was the artisan. Instead, they had considered either the fire, or the air, or the atmosphere, or the circle of stars, or the great sea, or the sun and moon to be the gods that rule the world. If they, being delighted by such sights, suppose them to be gods, let them know now that the great Lord of them is in splendour. For he who created all things is the author of beauty. Or if they wondered at their power and their efforts, let them understand that these things, that he who created them is mightier than they are. For by the greatness of the creation and its beauty, the creator of these will be able to be seen discernibly. Yet up to this point, the complaint about this is lesser, for perhaps they made a mistake in this while desiring and seeking to find God, and indeed having some familiarity with him through his works. They search and they are persuaded because the things that they are seeing are good. But then again, neither can their debt be ignored. For if they were able to know enough so that they could value the universe, how is it that they did not easily discover the Lord of it? Yet they are unhappy, and their hope is among the dead. For they have called gods the works of the hands of men, gold and silver, the inventions of skill, and the likeness of animals, or a useless stone, the work of an ancient hand. Or if it is as if a craftsman, a workman of the forest, had cut straight wood, and with his expertise shaved off all its bark, and with his skill diligently fashioned a vessel practical for use in life. And even the remains of his work were exhausted in the preparation of food. And from the remainder of this, which has become useful for nothing, a curved piece of wood and full of knots he diligently carves it in his spare time, and though the knowledge of his art forms it and makes it an image of a man, or something comparable to an animal, thoroughly rubbing it with a red ochre to make it red with the colour of pigment and to cover every imperfection which is in it. And it is as if he made a fitting resting place for it, even setting it on a wall and fastening it with iron, providing for it lest it should fall, knowing that it is unable to help itself, for it is an image and it is in need of help. And then, making an offering, he inquires about his wealth and about his sons and about marriage, and he is not ashamed to talk to the one which has no soul. And for health, indeed something unhealthy is being prayed to, and for life he petitions what is dead, and for help he calls upon something helpless, and for a good journey he entreats that which is unable to walk, and for acquiring and for working and for success in all things he entreats that which is useless in all things. Again, another, thinking to sail and beginning to make his voyage through the raging waves, calls upon a piece of wood more fragile than the wood that carries him, for this is what desire has contrived to be acquired, and the craftsman has formed its understanding. but you. But your providence, O Father, governs, because you have provided for both a way in the sea and a very reliable path among the waves, revealing that you are able to save out of all things, even if someone were to go to sea without skill, but so that the works of your wisdom might not be empty. Therefore, men trust their souls, even to a little piece of wood, and crossing over the sea by raft, they are set free. But from the beginning, when the proud giants were perishing, the hope of the world, fleeing by boat, gave back to the future ages the seed of birth, which was governed by your hand. For blessed is the wood through which justice is made. But through the hand that makes the idol, both it and he who made it is accursed. He indeed, because it has been served by him, and it because, though it is fragile, it is called God. But the impious and his impiety are similarly offensive to God. For that which is made, together with him who made it, will suffer torments. Because of this, and according to the adulteries of the nations, there will be no refuge. For the things created by God have been made into hatred, and into a temptation to the souls of men, and into a snare for the feet of the foolish. For the beginning of fornication is the search for idols, and from their invention comes corruption of life. For they neither existed from the beginning, nor will they exist forever. For by the great emptiness of men they came into the world, and therefore their end is soon discovered. For a father, embittered with the suffering of grief, made an image of his son, who had been suddenly taken away from him. And then he who had died as a man now begins to be worshipped as if a god. And so rites and sacrifices are established among his servants. Then in the course of time, iniquity gains strength within the erroneous custom, so that this error has been observed as if it were a law, and this figment has been worshipped at the commands of tyrants, and those whom men could not openly honour because they were far off. A likeness of them was carried from far off, and from it they made a similar image of the king, and they wanted to honour, so that by the solicitude they might worship he who was absent, just as if he were present. Yet it passes into their care, and those whom they did not know they love because of the excellence of the artist. For he, wishing to please the one who hired him, embellished his art so as to fashion a better likeness. But the multitude of men, brought together by the beauty of the work, now considered him to be a god, whom they had formerly honoured as a man. And this was a deception of human life, that men serving either with the inclination of their kings assigned the unutterable name to the stones and wood, and it was not enough for them to go astray concerning the knowledge of God, but also, while living in a great war of ignorance, they caused so many and such great evils peace. For either they sacrifice their own souls, or they make dark sacrifices, or they hold vigils full of madness, so that now they neither protect life nor preserve a clean marriage, but one kills another through envy or grieves him by adultery, and all things are mixed together: blood, murder, theft and fraud, corruption, infidelity, disturbances and perjury, disorder within good things, forgetfulness of God, pollution of souls, alteration of procreation, inconstancy of marriage, unnatural adultery and homosexuality. For the worship of unspeakable idols is the cause and the beginning and the end of all evil. For they either act with madness while happy, or they insistently speak wild lies, or they live unjustly, or they are quick to commit perjury. For while they trust in idols, which are without a soul, vowing evil, they hope not to be harmed themselves. Therefore, from both sides it will fittingly happen, because they have thought evil of God, paying attention to idols, and because they have sworn unjustly, in guile despising justice. For swearing is not a virtue, but sinning always comes around to a punishment according to the transgression of the unjust. Right, so just taking a little stop there, a little break. So what I am understanding from that is, okay, so I believe that everyone should worry about their own lives and not worry about what anybody else might be doing with theirs. And I started on this channel and I made this platform to worship God and to understand the Word of God. And I've got to say that I have learnt so much, and what I mean by that is sometimes when I go back and listen to a few of my videos myself, I get a totally different viewpoint, and I think, oh gosh, I've never thought of it that way before. It is a beautiful thing to have spiritual eyes and spiritual ears. And what I believe is everybody's journey, of course, is different. Everybody, you know, goes through what they go through for themselves. And I truly believe that my love for God and my love for the people that are closest to me is something which is incredibly, powerfully beautiful and private. And I learn from them every single day, and hopefully they learn from me. And I could not imagine my life without the people that are in my life that I love so dearly. The minute that you all realize how much the people in your life should mean to you, to turn around to them, to look at them, to talk to them, to hug them, to tell them that you love them sincerely and with a true heart. Believe me when I tell you that your spiritual journey begins at that moment. And what I mean by that is not worrying about your neighbour, what your neighbour might be doing, what your friends might be doing, what your cousins might be doing, what your sister might be doing, or what your brother or whoever might be doing. Just loving the here and now, being in the present moment with your family and your loved ones, is beyond anything that you could ever imagine. It's the most simplest form of love. To concentrate on yourselves as human beings and not, worry about anybody else. And when I say that, of course, be kind and be gracious and be loving. But at the same time, your spiritual journey and the love within your souls needs you to wake up. There is that higher voice, that higher being, which will answer. We all have it. It's our higher selves which are talking right back at us. You've all got a higher self. I hope you all understand out there. Whatever you put out, whatever you say, listen to what comes back. Love is the astrolabe of everything. Nothing on earth is more powerful than love. Nothing. That is what I wanted to say. Okay, so next. And with effort, I think I said that one. Now I forgot where I was. Okay. Yet they even considered our life to be a plaything, and the usefulness of life to be the accumulation of wealth, and what we must be acquiring things in every possible way. For above all else, he knows himself to be lacking, who from fragile material of the earth forms vessels and graven images. For all the foolish and unhappy in charge of the way of the arrogant soul are enemies of your people and rule over them, because they have esteemed all the idols of the nations as gods, which neither have the use of eyes to see, nor noses to draw breath, nor ears to hear, nor the fingers of hands to grasp, and even their feet are slow to walk, for man made them, and he who borrowed his own breath formed them. For no man will be able to form God in the likeness of himself, for being mortal, he forms a dead thing with his unjust hands. Yet he is better than those things that he worships, because he indeed has lived through he is mortal, but they never have. Moreover, they worship the most miserable animals, for to make a foolish comparison, these others are worse. But not even from their appearance can anyone discern anything good in these animals. Yet they have fled from the praise of God and from his blessing. Because of this, and by means of things similar to these, they were allowed to endure fitting torments, and they were exterminated by a multitude of beasts. Instead of these torments, you administered your people kindly, giving them a desire for a new taste from your delights, and preparing quails for their food, so that even those desiring food, because of those things, were sent and revealed to them. They were now turned away from a necessary desire. Yet these, after a brief time, having become weak, tasted new food. For it was necessary, though they are without excuse, for them to unexpectedly come upon the ruin of exercising tyranny. Yet this was as if to show them how their enemies were being exterminated. And so when fierce beasts overcame them in anger, they were exterminated by the bites of perverse snakes. But your anger did not continue forever. Though they were troubled for a short time for their correction, they have a sign of salvation as a remembrance of the commandment of your law. For he who turned to it was not healed by what he saw, but by you, the Saviour of all. Yet in this you reveal to our enemies that you are he who delivers from all evil. For they were killed by the biting of locusts and flies, and there was no remedy for their life, because they deserved to be destroyed by such things. But not even the teeth of venomous serpents conquered your sons, for your mercy came to them and healed them. For in remembrance of your words, they were examined and were quickly saved, for forgetfulness is not engraved into your altar, so that they would be unable to obtain your help. And indeed, neither a herb nor a poultice healed them, but your word, O Lord, which heals all. For it is you, O Lord, who holds the power of life and death. You both lead to the threshold of death, and you restore. Yet man, indeed, kills his own soul through malice, and when his spirit goes forth, it will not be returned, nor will he call back his soul when it has been received. But it is impossible to escape your hand, for the impious, having refused to know you, have been scourged by the strength of your arm, enduring persecution by unusual waters, and by hailstones, and by rainstorms, and being consumed by fire. For there was something extraordinary in water, which extinguishes all things. It has prevailed more than fire, for the world is the defender of the just. Indeed, at a certain time, the fire was subdued, so as not to burn away the animals which were sent against the impious, and so that in seeing this, they might know that they are suffering persecution by the judgment of God. And at another time, fire burned beyond its power in the midst of water, and it flared up from all around so as to destroy the nations of an unjust land. Instead of these things, you nourished your people with the food of angels, and having prepared bread from heaven, you served them without labour, that which holds within itself every delight and the sweetness of every flavour. For your nature showed your sweetness, which you hold within your sons, and serving the will of each one, it was converted to what each one preferred. But snow and ice held back the strength of fire, and it did not melt, so they might know that fire, burning in the hail and flashing in the rain, destroyed the fruits of the enemies. Yet it was also the case, so that the just might be nourished, that fire, having been deprived of its own power. For the creature serving you, the Creator, grows red hot in the midst of the conflict against the unjust, and yet it subsides for the benefit of those who trust in you. Because of this, and at that time, having been transfigured in all things, your grace was diligently serving as the nursemaid of all things, according to the will of those who long for you, so that your sons whom you loved, O Lord, might know that it is not the fruits of nature which feed men, but your word, which preserves those who believe in you. For that which could not be destroyed by fire was immediately melted when warmed by a few rays of the sun, so that it might be clear to all that it is right to come before the sun to bless you and to adore you at the dawning of light. For the hope of the ungrateful will melt away like the winter's ice and will disperse like overflowing water. And so I'm going to leave it there. Until next time, I just wanted to say thank you. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you may be. Thank you so much again for joining me. It has been a pleasure being here with you. It has been a pleasure reading the Wisdom of Solomon. And until next time, I appreciate every single one of you. And I hope to be back sooner than later. We'll see how things go. As you all know, I am extremely busy. But when I'm called to read, I read. I don't question it. I just get on and do it. So thank you so much again. Until next time, I will keep you all in my prayers. Thank you so much. Goodbye. See you guys.